Oh god damn it. Thank you, Mag. God fucking damn it. But yeah, I am muted. That's a good start to the stream. Anyway, thank you, Timmy Time, for the follow is what I started with. And today, guys, we're doing a competitive spy weapon tier list because there hasn't really been one done before. And yeah, I wanted to talk about them and just talk about different spy weapons because a lot of people don't know how they change from competitive to casual, what the differences is. I want to educate people and put the red tape recorder in the S tier. Yeah, no, good way to start a stream. I haven't done that for a while actually. Thank you guys for letting me know though. Because I feel like we're gonna have a smaller stream today, and if I just didn't have anyone in chat, because I want to turn this into a video after the fact. So if I would have just recorded that entire thing muted, that would have been horrible. Anyway, tier list. First off, what do you guys think about, like, what do you guys think about spy weapons? Let's like starting with a kunai, right? You probably think it's gonna be an S tier knife. Well, I don't. I don't know. How do you start a tier list? Well, I'm just gonna go like along here how it was ordered already, just because that's how it was, and then if I want to skip around or anything, I'll do that. But yeah, Spy's got a few weapons that are really good and a few weapons that are really bad. They're almost inversed. Surely he will rate the kunai. Yeah, surely I'm not making a video about how much I hate the kunai right now. But if you look at competitive, you'll have like half split. Basically the opposite of the knives that are good in casual are knives that are good in casual are bad in comp. The knives that are bad in comp are good in casual. That's usually how it goes. So starting with a big earner, which is like a pretty big example of this, I think if this was casual, it would probably be a C or a B tier. But in competitive, it's between S and A. So, I'm probably just gonna start with throwing the guys in and maybe organize it afterwards. I'll probably organize it afterwards if I feel anything different. Here, let me see if I can adjust my tier list a little bit because I want you guys to be able to see this. I can just move my... Here, I'm gonna move myself. Hooray! Just so you guys can actually see the tier list and we can get a proper screenshot of it afterwards. There we go. That's what we'd like to see. So yeah, starting with a big earner. In competitive, the big earner is really nice because it's a very... You don't have to worry. You can control the damage you take a lot better. You'll be taking less spam. You know where people are. The reason it doesn't really work as well in casual is because you're weak and you can't really account for every possible thing that's gonna happen to you, if that makes sense. Like there's a ton of spam, a ton of chaos. This thing does really well in an environment where you can kind of plan things out very clearly. So in a competitive setting like Highlander, for example, which is what most of this tier list is going to be based on. Well, it's all going to be based on Highlander because that's what I have my competitive experience in. And that's where Spy is played the most competitively. But in Highlander, there's less players. You can basically guess where every player is going to be and like know where people are going to be at any given time. So it's not like you get caught off by... You don't usually just get caught off from somebody being somewhere you can't account for. It's a lot easier to keep track of 9 people that are all doing their roles and trying to win than keeping track of 12 people who don't know how to play the game and are running around the map like insane people. And that makes it very... It's a very surgical knife. I'll leave it at that. So I'll put that... I'll put it in A because I don't want to say it's like the best, but it's really good and competitive, and it's a lot better than what is in casual, and has a lot of uses, and it's like one of the most popular knives for chain stabbing. So yeah. Anyway, big transition. Also, you guys can ask questions too. This'll be like a mini like coaching stream, I guess, where I can attempt to share my comp knowledge. It makes you think, so you hate it? True. Awesome background noise on MVM shit. That's so awesome. That's so awesome and cool. I'm looking forward to the next 9-man mission sergeant table. That'll be sick. Yeah, how terrible to think in competitive. Okay, so it makes you think. So yeah, in casual, this is just a really hard weapon to use, and you just have to be precise with it. Like probably even more precise. I'll get to the kunai when I get to it, but they're like similar in it. But you just, yeah, I'll just say you get good reward. The speed boost, I'll talk about the speed boost for a second. The speed boost is good. You can get really long chain stabs, and you can just leave after you get a stab super easily. And what I like to do a lot of times is if I stab someone in like the flank with this, then it gets, oh, there's a spy in the flank, that gets called to their team. Then I can just immediately rotate to the combo. Nobody's gonna expect me there because they go, oh, the spy's in flank. You stab someone, and then oh, you're in the combo, and you get double stab. So yeah, it's really nice. You can get really big chains. Makes trick stabbing almost guaranteed because you can like outstrafe any class. You're faster than Scout with it. So yeah. Anyway, this thing, Ambassador. The Ambassador, I want to say it's pretty bad. I'm sure that varies from player to player, but I rarely see it. It's pretty hard to use. And like even gun spies, we don't really see it much, you know. I think with that I put Ambassador in C tier because sure, the main reason you want to use this gun is burst damage, but the burst damage is inconsistent, hard to get, and it neuters your damage output unless you're like hitting headshot. So I mean like here and there it's nice, but ever since the nerf, it kind of just is almost unusable. True. Okay, so that'll be a big disclaimer here, actually. Thank you for bringing that up, Sergeant Table. Every spy weapon... Okay, so the spy weapons aren't like... This is a heavily opinionated tier list, we'll say that. Because the thing with spy is everyone plays him that bit differently, and none of his knives or like weapons are necessarily bad. He's just a very playstyle dependent class. So like let's say I don't know, let's say I like using the Ambassador and I get really good with the headshots. It would probably be A or B tier weapon. Maybe even S tier, because I think if you just hit headshot, it's better than stock. But that's where it would vary from player to player. But I'm gonna be talking mostly from my experience and just in general where spies weapons do like how often I see them, how often I use them, how useful they're generally seen by the competitive spies. And then I'll probably throw in a few curveballs in here just for how I feel. I'm looking at the red tape and the enforcer already, but we'll get there. Anyway, Cloak and Dagger. I think I'm gonna put this in A tier, honestly. It's a really nice watch. I use it a fair bit of time. It's my go-to watch. Hey, what's up, Doshby? Welcome to the funny chat. Yeah, but I'm spieing right now. But yeah, this is used fairly often. Basically, across the board for spies, it's almost always used on payload. At least payload defense, it's always going to be used. Whether that's just for the first point, then people switch off. That's kind of more up to playstyle. But this is a pretty good. It's a pretty good one. Like you can use it in any situation. It gives you a lot more time to think things out, and especially when they expect when people can track down your spy time really well and they're always going to be spy checking, just this extra little bit of safety is going to be really nice, you know? So yeah. And then the Dead Ringer. I think I put this with the Ambassador. Like we're just going to have like the little like the pub spy like tier down here. Or the Dead Ringer, there's some maps where it has uses, and again, it's like a playstyle dependent thing. Actually, I don't know if I want to put the Dead Ringer with the Ambassador. The Dead Ringer kind of comes to a point where it's very playstyle dependent, because like you'll see gun spies, and like there's some maps that just have really good flanks, so the Dead Ringer is really good. It's sometimes good. The Dead Ringer is sometimes good and sometimes bad. Yeah, pretty much. The thing is, the Dead Ringer, if you're going to invest in the Dead Ringer, you kind of can't do a lot of what Spy normally does. So a lot of teams won't be like super used to playing around a Dead Ringer Spy. Granted, most times Spy isn't the most important class to like take into consideration, you know? But I do think at the same time, I'll keep it B tier for now. I'll reconsider it later, but it's good for Gunspy on some heavy flank maps. But it basically takes away any like info. It takes away a lot of info giving to your team. And you essentially just become like a pester class, which I mean it's kind of what Spy is already, but it's I think it has potential, so I'm gonna put it in B for right now. I've been playing with it a little more. It has been growing on me. What is up, Darth Crosshair Didgeridoo, and welcome. Oh yeah, Dosh, you actually main Spy, don't you? Hey, what if I pick you up on my comp team, man? Can replace Raw. I hate that guy. If you actually are interested, though, I could give you. We could substitute you. We'll talk more later, Dosh. All right, I'll be in contact with you. You'll get you addicted to competitive one way or another. Oh, you're playing Baldur's Gate. Why would you do this to me, the Crosshair SMH? Anyway, this thing isn't even worth talking about because it's banned. I mean, okay, I still want to talk about it actually. I'm gonna make this banned tier just because I think we need that. But in Highlander, this is banned. I think it's fair that it's banned. If it wasn't banned, it would be right here. And do you want to know why it's right here? If you get Caber Knight, if only you could play Caber Knight. I wish that comp, like, I'm sure you could do, like, pull more funny things off. I want to, like, do more NR6s and, like, experimental stuff, so if you want to try it out, come to the Chuckle Nuts Pugs every Friday, 6:30 to 8:30 EST. That was a good plug. Anyway, Diamondback. Basically, how this thing... Thank you, Ken the Stone. Is that different than Kenny Stone? Because Kenny Stone already followed me, right? Oh, you had to make a new Twitch account? Well, welcome, Kenny Stone. Welcome to the chat. Kenny Stone. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The man of the hour. Yeah, we'll be able to get you in, Sergeant, if you are available. If you are interested, that is. Anyway, finally, I'll finally get to the Diamondback. Diamondback. The reason that's banned in competitive is because the main reason that's banned in competitive isn't because you can stab people or sap sentries and get crits. Like that, like it's a strong ability and it's kind of lame, but it's like still technically balanced. The reason it's banned in Highlander is you can sap a teleporter, you get 2 crits, and then you can 2-shot a medic from across the map like really easily, right? And that's just kind of that is a problem for obvious reasons. It's basically just old ambassador, but you don't have to be good at aiming for it to work, and you can just hit their entire body. And so like on a map like Lakeside, you can just like sap tellies at their spawn because they're always gonna have tellies. Tellies are an important thing that every team needs to have, and you can basically punish the engineer for just existing. So that's why it's kind of bad. Or it's good. That's why it's kind of good, but it's like bad and banned for like the format. If it didn't give you crits from sapping like teleporters or dispensers, it would probably be balanced. Like if you got crits from just backstabs and sentries, it would be probably an okay knife. Knife gun. I'm British or something. When will I rank the Mad Milk? Probably today. We'll get there. It's hiding down here somewhere. Mad Milk S tier spy weapon. That is also banned though, in case you're curious. In case you're actually curious, the Mad Milk is banned. The Motherly Father, yeah. Spy scrapped cosmetics tier list. The breast milk top tier, S tier. All right, here's another one I've made a video about. Or I guess the only one so far that I've made a video about that is still unlisted or listed. The Enforcer. This is one of my favorite guns, but it's not just because it's not like a good gun. I think it's slept on a little bit. I don't think it's amazing though. I think most people would rank this like C or D tier. I don't think we need a C tier on this tier list, honestly. Like I don't think there's anything that would warrant a D tier, like anything below C. But I think I want to put the Enforcer in B tier because it is kind of slept on. The extra damage is nice sometimes, and the firing penalty isn't horrible. The main place you want to use this though is for sentries. It's basically a slightly worse and more boring stock revolver, but it has use for sentries, and then it has some slight synergy with like the sniper. Hey, what's up? Thank you, T3's Inferno, for the follow, and welcome to the Crab Crew. Enforcer is good, but usually there isn't a reason to use it. Yeah. The Your Eternal Reward with the Enforcer. So yeah, I haven't experimented with this enough. I think it might have potential. Personally, I don't think it's too great. Only because the fact that you have to shoot to use this. I mean, like, it usually with the Your Eternal Reward, unless it's like a small map or you're like godly at like your invis movement and can get behind, then you want to be using the L'Étranger with the Your Eternal Reward, right? For the Enforcer, you kind of, if you're using it with the Your Eternal Reward, you have like no cloak time, and then to get the bonus of this, you have to like take a really hard punish from this one. So I think it's potential if you're playing like really well and you have like you stab some people and you get like an extra bit of damage with it, but not amazing. So I'm gonna say not great synergy, but it has good synergy with the Spicicle. It's good for Wrangler sentries. It's really really good at dealing with those. It basically is a hard counter to the Wrangler, and yeah, no, it's just really good. This because engineers always played here. It's not too much worse than Stock Revolver, even if there isn't an engineer. And every now and then you get a little damage bonus, so it's nice. It's not bad. I think it warrants a B tier. Let's see. It'll be hard for my MVM brain to go comp. No, I don't blame you. It's a very different transition. Like the Wrangler? Yeah, like the Wrangler. That's one of the reasons I want the Wrangler unbanned in 6s until last night, basically. But the Enforcer kind of hard counters the Wrangler, and I feel like if the Wrangler wasn't banned, it'd encourage buy more. Anyway, stock Invis watch. Might have to reorganize this, but I think stock Invis might be S. I almost want to put it next to the Cloak and Dagger though. I'm not sure. Basically the Cloak and Dagger and the Invis watch. The Invis watch is a good just general watch. Like it's basically gonna be your default 90% of the time, especially on things like King of the Hill and stuff. It's nice. The only thing is, I think I'd keep these together. I'd probably count them equal in terms of viability. The Invis watch gives you more movement and like opportunity. It's actually kind of hard, I'm not gonna lie. The stock watch is good because it teaches you the essentials of cloaking, but after you can take advantage of the unlock. That is true. A 6 spy on the attempt on Metro Malice. Real? Did it work? Did it work? I hope you guys won. I need to finish cooking on the Invis watch though. The Invis watch. So the reason this differs from the Cloak and Dagger. The Cloak and Dagger, you can use it for like being extra passive. It's good for passive spies who don't want to get caught out much, who want to take their time before they get their picks, who want to be like calming more. This is more of a support weapon. Well, this is more of a you're going to take it into your own hands and force yourself to go for plays. It's like you can't really play as passive with this weapon, which is nice. It forces you to go for plays, but I don't know if I would call it better than the Cloak and Dagger in competitive. Like they're both just playstyle dependent, like we've said before. So yeah, we got to like wave 4. That's kind of awesome. 6 spy wave 4. A competitive MVM when? Someday, if we can figure out how to do that. I'd make everything competitive. And then stock knife. The man of the hour and the knife of the hour. I think I'm gonna put a lot in A. I think the stock knife and competitive. No, I'll put it S. It's just all reliable. You can take some spam. It gives you a lot of flexibility to work with. You can stab things. You can get out. Thank you for the follow, Cosmic Clone, and welcome to the Crab Crew. We're doing competitive spy weapons tier lists, as you can tell by the title. Welcome anybody new who's in the chat. We're hanging out. I'm giving just competitive player opinion, live competitive reaction. Surely both of the watches would be S tier because actually I think you're right. I think that is how we do it. Here, I'm gonna put the knife down here for a second. I think that both of these would be S tier because they are both basically really good knives, or really good watches, and you can just switch between them depending on playstyle. These are useful in basically every situation, and sometimes the cloak and dagger is more useful. So I think you're right about putting them both in S tier. I think that's a fair statement. I just almost didn't want to put the cloak and dagger in S, but I think we can do that. Do you think there's any correlation between Spy's skill and his cosmetics, especially if he has an orange Balloonicorn equipped? You know, there might just be. Both Invis watches, I feel like, are Spy's lifeline, as in one of his best qualities. Yes, these are basically the core of his kit, so they should definitely be S tier. Oh yeah, no, I'll follow up with you on that for sure. I'm working on other like content right now, and I might be planning on traveling soon, so I just have to like get clear on money and stuff before I can like plan out like a 9-man MVM mission. But I am excited to try out a new one when we do finally get back to that, because that was really fun when we did the testing one. One spy, one medic solo. I tried that with Tori and it didn't go well. Like on the easiest mission in the game, I tried it with Tori and we made it to like wave 3 or 4, I think. So, I mean, it wasn't horrible. But anyway, stock knife. Stock knife, it is kind of just the core of Spy's kit. I think I'm actually just gonna do stock knife and Spycicle right now at the same time. These guys are both the core of Spy's kit, more namely the stock knife. But the reason this guy comes in here is because it's kind of the same thing between like stock watch and cloak and dagger. Spycicle is kind of just a more passive, more thought out, more survivability based knife compared to the stock knife. Like they're both very reliable and get the job done. The Spycicle just gives you that extra bit of flexibility when there's always a pyro on the other team. You can almost always get out. The only thing comes in when like with the Spycicle, like sometimes the pyro can melt it and then you get screwed over. But most times if you're gonna get a stab, you shouldn't be lit on fire anyway, unless the pyro is like really insane. So I think that these should be both S tier together. They're more passive, thought out knives. Like yeah. You think the Spycicle is better because the look of the kill is cooler? You're pretty real for that. That is pretty real. That's why I make MVM pauses. Massive disrespect to a finale. True. But yes, basically, TLDR, these are both good knives. Spycicle is slightly better at staying alive and being passive. Like if you want to do like the cloak and dagger Spycicle kind of thing, a lot of people will run that. Stock knife, better at just being a more general. Like the stock knife is just always good. The Spycicle is a less thought out stock knife. True. If you could, I think TF2 would be probably be the best game of all time if you could festivize the red tape. You might be onto something. Anyway, continuing the S tier trend, this thing probably Spy's best weapon. I mean, if the Diamondback, even with the Diamondback, I would almost consider this being better. The L'Étranger is just really good, just in all situations. Like you guys know, you don't lose anything from you barely lose anything from doing it. If you don't use it, it's benefiting you. If you use it, it's still benefiting you. The damage reduction isn't massive. Like you still get, it's not a lot of health thresholds, and you can kind of just be a lot more flexible and thought out with your watches and like basically your plays. It gives you a lot more time to think, and that's really valuable and competitive. So I think, unless anybody has any questions, I think I can kind of just speed past this one being S tier. It's just like always good. It's a bit of it's almost a crutch. It's almost a crutch if you don't know how to manage your invis, but it's just good. And always good, never bad. Yeah, pretty much. It's almost never bad. You barely ever notice the damage difference. And now stock, I'm kind of hesitant about. The 15 damage penalty, yeah, it is a 15%. Isn't it 20? I think it's 20% damage penalty actually. But that isn't even that bad most times. I'm gonna be completely honest. It can come into play, and it can hurt you at times, but it is just a really nice. It's really nice and competitive. I guess again it comes down to playstyle. That's what's difficult about a spy tier list. There's not with spy you can't really like shift. You can't really shift your opinion around a playstyle where it's like, okay, this fits in with spy really well. This doesn't fit in with spy. This is hurting him, that kind of thing. You lost the spy duel because of its spy penalty. C tier, you know what? You're right, Kenny Stone. I think you're right. No, I think I'll keep this S. It's just a really good gun. And then stock revolver. This one I don't know if I want to do S or A. Because it's just really good. Like I said, it's reliable. But what I find myself, it's just a good reliable gun. And I kind of want to put it in S tier. But it's kind of competing with these guys. More so with the Enforcer, or not the L'Étranger. Because there's not really... Like, this is just good. It does good damage. It's almost always going to be good. The only thing is, you might be using this thing, right? Which gives you more time to think, more time to actually, like, play support class. I think I still have to give this S tier. I really do think I still have to give it S tier. But, like, I might spread these out a little more at the end. Just to make it, like... we'll see. Spy has a lot of good weapons, I'm not gonna lie. The disguise kit, unfortunately, you can't switch the disguise kit. You always have to use it, so it's probably an S tier. Stock is consistent and reliable. A or S is fine, doesn't change much. Yeah, no, that's true. I want to put stock in S just because it is consistent, it's reliable. It does really good damage. A lot of people underestimate it. It's just, you will tend to prefer L'Étranger over it at times, depending on the map. Depending on a few different things. Actually, I'll move this around a bit afterwards after we finish ranking. But the cloak time, because the cloak time is always good. I'm gonna put this A tier actually. Stock revolver is A tier. This will be S tier because cloak is always good. This is always benefiting you. This is not always benefiting you. And you don't really, yeah. I'm gonna put this A tier. This will take the W here. I think that's fair. I think it's a fair compromise. All right, I will check it out later. I will check it out later. I promise you. I'm excited. It's been a minute since I played some MVM. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, on to stock sapper. Now, my only question is to rank this. Are you going to rank this just based on Spy's Kit as a whole or just in its relation with the other sapper? If we're ranking it on Spy's Kit as a whole, do you read about the hot hand drama in the chuckle list? I did not read about the hot hand drama. You'll have to update me in a moment after I wrap up the tier list. Spy base is kind of awesome. We'll play MVM. We gotta play some MVM. Not now, but later, after the stream. After competitive games, after whatever. Anyway, though, stock sapper. I think I'm gonna rate it in relation to the rest of Spy's Kit. It's one of his worst weapons conceptually, just because it only counters engineer. But lucky for us, there's always an engineer in Highlander and competitive Highlander. And Spy is generally pretty useful when there's an engineer in the other team. So I think I put the stock sapper in A tier. I think I put stock sapper in A tier. Because it's just it's a generally reliable sapper. There's not really too much to say about it. it's just good against engineers. There's always an engineer in the other team. It does its job. It does its job well. It stacks damage well with your teammates, that kind of thing. Disables, yeah. But now we can talk about the fun one. The fun one that I like a lot. Red Tape Recorder is also my go-to. While it's generally worse than the stock Sapper. Actually, let me show you guys a clip. I bring up this clip every single time I talk about the Red Tape Recorder. Let's see. You can ignore my YouTube recommended. I don't even know it's there. Red Tape Cyber 2 Zerd. Where'd I put it? I think I just have to go to my second channel. Here we go. Red Tape. So, if you guys will look here, this is my main gimmick for the Red Tape Recorder. It would be better if it... Yes. No, actually, I even 100% agree with that, Dosh. I think if they're going to buff the Red Tape, they have to make it deal... they have to make it take one more hit from basically everything. And I think... So take 4 hits from Jag, that kind of thing. Why isn't this... Can you work with me? There we go. So, but basically what I want to demonstrate here with the Red Tape Recorder is it has a hidden tech that I'm going to make a video about in the future. But if you put it onto an engineer building as it's deploying, it'll insta-destroy it. So this is an old competitive clip. It goes down in like a second. There I put it on like a tiny bit late, but here I get another clip with it. Here, we'll put on the sound.
Nice shot.
I just slap it on. Engineer doesn't even have the time to react to it. And then it's just gone. And the reason this doesn't work with a stock sapper is because as a building is deploying, it constantly gains health. And if he redeploys a building, it has its max building health as well. I think I do another one. This one might be the best one. Yeah. Do you see how fast that went out? Is it the clip that I used for the what's? Yes, this is what I sent the what for my review on his weapons.
I heard spy.
The playable Bracken. Oh, I saw that too for a second. Send that to me afterwards if you find it. You can try that. That sounds funny. But yeah, Red Tape, I think it's a little slept on. Like, I don't think it's amazing, but it can do that. And here I have another clip. I've uploaded like all of my Red Tape clips here. Red Tape use number 2. This one's from a casual game. But basically, it doesn't only insta-destroy buildings. The other part of it that I find useful is it's really good at like stalling an engineer. So one, it can always, if an engineer's like far away from his gun at all, it will always at least take a level off. So you can just throw it on and leave for basically no risk on your end, and it will always do something to the engineer. So like, look here, and then here he comes to remove it. He unsaps it, but since it's in the lower level state, it has to rebuild up to where it was, and that gives me time to shoot at him and put another sapper on before he can, before the gun starts shooting at me again. So I can kind of do like a double. This is something a lot of people don't consider. What happens? Yeah, so basically, once an engineer removes the sapper, the Red Tape Recorder, off of his building, it has to take that extra second to re-level up, giving you more time while the animation is going to shoot the engineer and put another sapper on. So in an engineer 1v1, the Red Tape Recorder is always better because it gives you that extra little bit of flexibility. It's not a lot of time, but it's a little more time. And I haven't gotten to experiment with this much yet, but I'm thinking that it could also be used for like sinking bombs or something. Like if somebody's bombing in for a medic, you can put the Red Tape on and it takes a little longer for the sentry to come back up. Now the thing where the Red Tape isn't good though is it's absolutely horrible at dealing with teleporters, which is really important in competitive. When there's an engineer on the other team, right? I feel like it's almost always better at dealing with sentries. It's good if you're just a solo spy going in trying to do something. But yeah, it just doesn't stack damage well. Like if you sap with the stock sapper, like the building will destroy really fast. But since this does no damage at all, your teammates will have to shoot a lot of rockets to kill it if the engineer is still alive. But generally against sentries, this is better. But it's worse against teleporters. That's just kind of how I view it. And then you can do some funny gimmicks where, like, if an engineer leaves a point, I want to experiment with this more. I haven't gotten to because I'm not playing Spy this season. Yes, so the dispenser matchup, I'm getting there. I want to try this out more, but so on a point, like, can I draw that? Let me see if I can draw this out. I need like a picture of upward. Upward. No, TF2. So let me see if I can make this make sense. This music a little loud. Let me turn this down a tiny bit. Let's do this one. Okay. Anyway, so take a look at this point, for example. I should just like open the game or something. Maybe this is a better angle. Can you guys see my mouse? You guys can see my mouse, right? Can you? Yes. Okay. So usually what will happen here, let's say there's an NG on hey, what's up, Grape Juice? Sorry. Okay. Grape Juice, invite player. Famous invite player Grape Juice. Welcome. I'm talking about my red tape theory right now. I'm probably gonna take the longest part of this video just on my red tape theory. Just because it's basically what I've built myself off of. I'll pull up the clip again in a second just so I can show you. But famous invite player Grape Juice, can we get a round of applause? So yeah, I'll get done with the dispenser bit and then I'll go back to the gun bit because I presume you missed that and I can tell you about that real quick. But so for example, on this point, if we have dispenser up right here, like usually NG will put dispenser in this little wall. Our team, let's say our team walks up, pushes them all out. If I tell my team to not destroy the dispenser, I can put the red tape recorder on the dispenser. It takes like a minute to destroy it. The engineer is backed up here at their spawn. They can't do anything out here. They can't get out here. They can't even switch class or change their loadout or anything because it's Highlander and they can't like do that and just, yeah. So they basically have to play a minute without a dispenser at the next point on defense. And that's something I'd have to experiment with more just because like I said, I haven't been playing Spy this season, but this is more theory work. But this is a hypothesis gaming. But the red tape theory, I'm gonna pull up the clip one more time. No, they can't destroy it. If you're sapping something, they can't destroy it with their PDA. So if they have their dispenser in this little cubby, it doesn't die when we push in. I sap the thing. Engineer's just playing that entire time. Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to experiment with that more. Like engineers forced out, they just don't have anything. And then the other thing that the red tape can do, I'm gonna pull it up again. I know everybody in chat saw this, but I'm pitching this to an invite player right now. This is like Shark Tank. This is competitive TF2 Shark Tank. Will you invest in my theory? Anyway, red tape recorder clip again. I'm gonna pull up right here just because this is like the most visible use of it. But something that I realized here is if you put the red tape recorder on a building right as it's redeploying, it will instantly destroy it because it just breaks it down again. So like look right here. We're replaying the clip, we're running it back. So since in Highlander and competitive, usually engineers, I like to do this on yeah, what the fuck exactly? That's what I'm saying. This is caught on a little bit with some spies, like some spies have experimented about it a little bit. I am a Clash Royale player. I'm sorry to break it to you, but basically it isn't caught on like a ton yet, but I realized since it insta destroys on a lot of like passive holds, what happens is an engineer will always move their gun out and put it in the same spot almost every single time. Since it's competitive, there's like a formula there, right? There's like the best sentry spot that you set it in. So you can predict exactly where the engineer is going to put his sentry. You can just get in, throw the red tape on, and get out as fast as you can. I feel like that's where this weapon is like the best. You can get in, throw it on, and leave a lot of times. Now this is a kind of tight timing because you have to be there like ready and decloaked when the engineer is there. But it's really funny when it works. And I think it has some usage that people haven't caught on to yet. And then, like I said, there's the whole 1v1 thing where since when you sap a building, it has to take a second to go through the animation to re-level up, giving you more time to fight the NG before you have to put a sapper on again. So I feel like it's slept on. It's definitely, I don't know if I would call it as good as stock yet, but I think it's slept on. Goku tier? True, we can do that. Goku tier. When I turn this into a video, I'm gonna cut that out, and then it's just gonna be at the end when people skip to see the tier list. They're just gonna see Goku at the bottom. But yeah, any last questions about my red tape theory? That is my most researched weapon, my most played with weapon. I'm probably the most well-seasoned red tape recorder player. Actually, no, I am. I just straight up am the most well-seasoned red tape recorder player. Nobody else used this weapon. I got a couple people. Yeah, I think it's fair. Like, it's still absolutely horrid against teleporters, which is really important. A red tape guru. Yeah, I'm selling you guys all my my red tape dust to make you better at the game or something. But the only thing that holds it back are, yeah, lack of damage. So it's worse when you're like coordinating to destroy the sentry. And it's worse when you're dealing with tellies, but it's better against sentries in general, and it's better against dispensers. No, yeah, so basically that's what I'm thinking. That's what we talked about it a little more earlier, but I think that personally, if it took one more hit from everything to destroy, it would probably be like viable, if not S tier. Like that would almost make it broken, but I think it's all right. As is, it's okay. But if it had that extra one hit on, like, if it took like an extra home wrecker hit and an extra wrench hit, then it would be amazing. It would be probably, I would almost, I mean, I already do mostly use this, but this would be the only thing that I ever run. So yeah, B tier, go buy yourself a strange red tape recorder. A home wrecker would be pretty cool. No, the thing is, the home wrecker kind of does counter the red tape a little more than other weapons. A little more than it does the stock sapper. Kind of. I don't know. The home wrecker just kind of BS's all of Spy sappers though, so. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's my red tape theory. It's cooking. A red tape into D&D right now. Yeah. I'm going to play Spy with this thing more. Also, grape juice thoughts. I have a question for you. I don't think I've talked about it a little bit, but I'm trying to run. I'm trying to plan a season where I run full-time Spy in competitive sixes, because right now I'm a Highlander Spy. I played advanced Highlander Spy, and that's about my peak. But I want to span out a little more. If you're still here, grape juice. What do you think about that? Do you think I can make that work? Spy, true. He's trash. Actually, there's another tech that I want to share with you guys. I probably could farm amateur players. What I was thinking initially is I would probably try to play at an amateur or an intermediate. But I want to be a low tier hero. That is my goal with this. Anyway, I want to show you guys a video from. There's a Dead Ringer tech that a lot of people don't know about. Does this work? Let me try this. Why doesn't this work? Okay, I'm just going to explain it. Basically, there's a Dead Ringer tech where when you're reloading, if you pull the Dead Ringer out and put it away, it'll cut off the rest of your reload time. So you can basically cut down your reload time with the Dead Ringer from about 1.2 seconds on the stock revolver. You can cut that down to 0.4 seconds at minimum. I've gotten it to. If I disabled streamer mode, maybe. Okay, no, there we go. So I'm gonna get an example of this right here. Did I post that here? I posted the Enforcer version. I need to go back in here, I think. Did anybody understand what I was saying though? Question. Please, if you know that you're perma-spy, I am more than comfortable essentially counter-sacking infinitely into my team. No, that's fair. But if I was gonna run spy, I would probably be running like combo spy or gun spy. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to cook up, like a combo like support spy kind of play where I can just be a pester that just always stays alive, if that makes sense. Anyway, I got the video. I finally found the video. Because Spy with Deadringer is essentially just always going to be alive. Alright, let me show you guys this. You guys got to check this shit out. Play combo. Okay, but Combo Scout dies because he sucks. Okay, team. Check this out. I'm gonna need your guys' thoughts on this. I'm probably still gonna turn this into a YouTube short, but this is a very not well-known spy tech. So this is just me. This is normal reload speed, right? And then if we compare that, see how much faster that is? I was able to get this to like 0.4 seconds. So this literally, if you optimize this, you can reload faster than a scout can reload one shell. Which is kind of insane. That gives Spy like almost the most consistent damage in the game. Which is kind of awesome. This also works with the Enforcer. Basically, it's a lot harder and a lot more minimal with the Enforcer. But if you pull out the Deadringer while you're shooting with the Enforcer and you put it away again, it gets rid of the firing penalty. And so even though that's like super inconsistent and like hard to get, you can technically just get a direct to upgrade Enforcer because it just ignores the firing penalty. But yeah, anyway. Spy tech! Hooray! I'm teaching. Do you guys like my teaching? I'm learning, you guys. But yeah, Spy is kind of screwed up, especially the Deadringer. He has a lot of very funny things. Pretty cool teaching. I think they call me the teacher. Because So yeah, I'm actually gonna put the Deadringer in Goku tier. Oh, I have to turn off, apologies, I have to turn on streamer mode again. Alright, here we go. So yeah, Deadringer, kinda good. I'm thinking about, before I do the Spy 6 season, I kind of want to try a season where I'm just running Deadringer, like in Highlander, and just going Gun Spy with the super funny reload tech. Can't wait for the actually comments when I talk about the year. True. Okay, okay, streamer mode was on, but I had to turn it off to get the thing, and I don't know how to turn it on again. Anyway. Your Eternal Reward. I think I can finally get onto this. I got into my funny tangents. You guys got me talking about the funny tech that I'm addicted to, alright? Anyway. This thing. Your Eternal Reward. Most slept on knife in the game. People think it's like the worst knife. But I think it's one of the better knives. I don't know if I would call it better than the bigger. It's not better than the bigger knife. It's not better than any of these three knives and competitive. But it has its place, and that's what people don't really realize. It's another playstyle dependent thing, kind of. But what you can do, the silent killer stat is what carries this thing. The silent killer stat is so unbelievably slept on. Basically, it messes with everybody. It messes with people's reaction time. So usually what people turn around to isn't that their teammates call something, it's that they hear the stab in the first place. because Spy has like it's a very obvious sound when Spy stabs someone. Like you hear the stab, you hear like a crit sound sometimes, you hear the scream, right? The death scream is very like obvious. Like sometimes it can be a sniper and it's like, oh no, I got hit, but it's very obvious. People turn around when they hear a Spy, right? With this thing though, it removes the oh, you have to turn around immediately reaction. So they can't hear anything that comes through. The only thing that they will be able to hear and react to is if your teammates say, people say Spy when they die and there's no Spy. Yeah, exactly. So that's where the mix-up comes in. Like obviously, like the disguise aspect of it, people can learn to play around it. People will say Spy me, Spy's using Eurotunnel. People will get used to it. But at first, what happens is you stab someone with this thing. Somebody will yell Spy. You turn around. The person that just called Spy is still there, and you don't see a Spy. So there's no reason for you to be concerned. Pyro will do the job. True. But so the reason, like while this weapon is kind of not great in terms of the paid to disguise stat and the limited cloak, it clutches when it comes to the silent killer, like I was saying. Alright, Ramen? Let me see. What is up, Ramen? Welcome to the funny stream. Cloak and dagger over stock, surely. Okay. I haven't organized this fully yet. This is just me putting them in the same tier. I don't know if it's very playstyle dependent, but I think they both are very strong places. So I'll probably go through and organize them all in a little bit here. What are you doing? Anyway, Silent Killer, yeah. Silent Killer is just really good. Messes with people's reaction time. They have to react to the Spy call instead of just reacting to the sound, and that slows down reaction time. So it means if there's a lot of people clumped up together, this is the best knife for killing them, because you can just go stab, 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 and before somebody can say anything and voice chat and people can react to what they're saying, you can already take out a lot of them. And then if you're good at disguise playing, and there's a lot of, I guess, chaos, it's also really good. Personally, I like using this as like a mix-up, but I do think it also has potential as a, I do think it's slept on. So I'm gonna put it bottom A tier instead of top of B tier, and then I'll go through and organize all this in a second. But to end with this thing, the kunai, the weapon that I'm making a video on how bad it is in competitive currently, I'm putting this in the C tier with the ambassador, I think. A lot of people think this weapon is overpowered because it's good in casual, but it's only really good in casual. And even in casual, I don't think it's the most strong weapon. I think it's good in casual. I think it just exploits a skill gap though, and just takes advantage of players not knowing how to deal with it and not coordinating, versus it just being a good weapon. They should make it take away health on kill. Yeah, it should kill you when you stab people with it. Yeah, the Enforcer is the anti-sentry gun. You're a 6s player, right, Ramed? If I remember correctly. But, yeah, basically with the Enforcer, it's basically slightly worse stock, but oh, you do play some Highlander, nice. It's a slightly worse stock revolver, but it shreds Wrangler sentries. The Engineer can basically do nothing. I would almost say it hard counters Wrangler sentries. The only reason I wouldn't say hard counter is because it's very map dependent on how much space you can get from the sentry and if anybody's able to rush you down. But in almost every map and almost every sentry placement, why the red tape isn't S? I just had my whole red tape rant, all right? But I'm being humble today, all right? I'm being humble about the red tape. If I was in a good mood, I would probably put the red tape right here, but I am gonna put it right here. I think it's B tier. But yeah, like Enforcer, it is mostly anti-sentry gun, but it also does have just some okay use with disguising and some synergy with this bicycle. Usually when you pull it out, it's for sentries though. I have been using it a little more lately when I do get to play competitive or ring. And yeah, back to kunai real quick. It's good in casual. The reason it's bad in competitive is you have no health. You get sneezed on and you die. There's no room to work with. Once you get a stab, you're probably dead regardless. Like, people in competitive are used to shredding down soldiers bombing in the combo. It doesn't matter that you have 200 health. unless you can trick stab people, then it's like okay. It's best benefit if you're really confident in trick stabbing, it's like okay, but like it's not really worth trick stabbing competitive a lot of times. It's a lot more difficult and less consistent. When you and then for escaping, it's probably the best. Its best benefit is escaping, which is you just take a ton of damage and you try to get out as fast as you can and you don't stay in. It's better with just like something it's usually better with to just use the Big Earner or the Spicicle if you're trying to go for an escape. Even the Your Eternal Reward sometimes. Are we talking about shortstop? Okay, I'll join shortstop discussion in 1 second. Let me organize this. But yeah, this thing, I think it's the worst knife in competitive. And let me reorganize this a little bit and be a little more biased. Reorganization. I'm probably gonna put Spicicle. I'm gonna put Spicicle top of A tier. Yeah, Spicicle top of A tier, followed by Stock Revolver. I'm gonna put you there. This seems pretty good, I think. Do we have any last questions about the tier list? I think this is gonna be the final one. Shortstop is the... If shortstop was on Spy, it would actually be good, though. You're gonna disappear? Alright. Goodbye, grape juice. Thank you for hopping in here. Why isn't the urine S? I was considering it, because like I said, it is a little slept on. But it just... Its downsides kind of... Yeah, no, it gets a lot of people. The Silent Killer is, like, really strong. I think it's one of the strongest Spy stats. The only thing I don't like about it is it's just... Its limitation with disguises and its lack of cloak make it a little easier to exploit. Yeah, you need a lot to go your way. Like, I think it's still a good chain stab knife. I think it's one of the better chain. It's better than the kunai, in competitive at least. I think it has. It's the most slept on Spy weapon. I think with the red tape, people just kind of hear it's bad and assume it's bad. Like I mentioned, I kind of like using it as a mix-up more than anything, but it is still a very good knife, and you can get some, you can pull it out on like points. Usually it's best on points where people are going to be clumped up, so something like Vigil last, Upwards second, something like that where their combo is going to be clumped up and you can just stab as many people as possible without anyone noticing. And it also, I mean, a lot of Spy's knives, all of Spy's knives benefit from chaos, but the Your Eternal Reward benefits especially well from chaos, because people won't have time. If they hear Spy, they're gonna turn around, not see a Spy, and like they see their team, right? Yeah. Urine might be held back by its cloak consumption. Yeah, that's true. I almost want it to get rid of the disguise penalty, just because it's like the disguise knife. But I couldn't tell you how to balance the year. There's a few ways to do it. I think it's pretty good right now. It could definitely use a buff. If it had a buff, I would probably put it like top of A tier, maybe even S tier, depending how good the buff was. But yeah, I think if you look at this, you can kind of see this is like the opposite of like the casual tier list, other than the L'Étranger. I think the L'Étranger is just good in every format. Like, in casual, you would expect like these guys to probably be top tier, with like Spicicle, Big Earner, these guys to be at the bottom. So you thought of the old year for a second? Oh yeah, I didn't get to play with the old year. I'm relatively new to this, or relatively new to TF2, but yeah. And be having mini crit at max range instead of no crit. I think that could work. I think the way that I would balance the Ambassador is I would maybe give it like slightly more room before it fell off. But I think giving it something like either revert it to where it was before, I think, or you give it like a better ramp up close. So like it would do something like, this is a slightly controversial opinion, but I kind of want it to one-shot light classes up close. But I would be okay with even just like higher damage up close without one-shotting light classes. If it one-shot light classes, it might be too strong, but I think slightly more ramp up and then maybe like increase it so that it can crit for a little longer. I don't know if it necessarily needs to mini crit though. Planting, tracking, or flicking. I flick to aim most of the time. It's not the best for my wrist. And sometimes with like, I can't really use the ambassador as well, which partially influenced its placing here. But yeah, I flick a lot. I'm definitely a flick player over anything. My sense is way too high. I don't know how to play with a lower sense. I'm way too used to it. But yeah, take your screenshots now. I'll probably take a screenshot here and then tweet it and be like, OMG guys, this was the best spy tier list, and I'm not gonna explain the Goku tier. But I will open it up to questions for anyone. I could rant about the red tape recorder again. But if not, I think I could wrap up here because I've got scrims I've got to get ready for somewhat soon here. But I think this makes sense. I do think I like this tier list. I never went in and made actually, I don't think I've made a comp weapon tier list before. Not for a while at least. They did ban Goku. I mean, it makes sense though. I think it makes sense that they ban Goku. I mean, imagine if he was usable, it would have been over. He is. Oh wait, but did I say I was gonna check stuff out earlier? Oh yeah, it was just people DMing me stuff, right? That will. Cool. I think that'll be it then. Unless you guys have any questions. I can don't check your Twitter. I won't check your Twitter. Don't worry, Kenny Stone. I think that was a good educational stream now. Thank you guys for being here and asking questions. Goku spy? We need Goku mod. Every time you fire the diamond back, it says, hey, it's me, Goku. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for hopping in. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. And that'll be the stream. This is the official Cyber Wizard competitive spy tier list. And have a good one. I'll hopefully see you guys next time when I do another shitty tier list or something. I'll do casual tier. I don't know. I need content, anything. Adios.